Well, hello there everyone, Simon here, and we've got another trailer for Andor Season 2. It's only a month away now, and so I'm guessing this is the full and final trailer. We'll probably get smaller snippets in some TV clips as time goes on from here, but it does feel like just, a minute ago that we got the kind of shorter teaser trailer, and it was only about two and a half weeks ago, but now we're just a month left to go. Things are kind of ramping up. We've got Celebration coming in a couple of short weeks. There's some exciting stuff potentially coming there in terms of animation. It looks as though we are going to get a new animated show, and they're going to give us a bit of a snippet of that there. Other than that, things are a little bit quiet right now on the whole kind of Star Wars front, but Andor is going to be given main focus because this is the second and final season of Andor. There's going to be a lot going on, and that was Zuko, sorry. Obviously, we speculated on some of the goings-on in the previous trailer. It's definitely forming up to be a very quick and sudden, kind of sharp season. There's only going to be 4 weeks of episodes. There's going to be 3 episodes released every single week. Not quite sure how I feel about that, if I'm being completely honest. Again, I don't know if there's going to be enough time to digest everything. I do definitely prefer the longer, drawn-out kind of release schedule where you get an episode every week. But don't get me wrong, I'm still going to be enjoying the fact that we are going to be getting every single arc every, kind of week. But I know that by the end of the 4 weeks, I'm going to be frustrated that it's over. So it's an interesting release schedule nonetheless. I've speculated on a few of the arcs. Obviously, the Gorman Massacre. I actually speculated on a person who we've seen quite a lot in the trailer. Firstly, it was Krennic, director Krennic, who I think might take Tarkin's place. A lot of people have been saying, is Grand Moff Tarkin going to be in this? Because, he would be front and center at the, kind of Imperial front. Obviously was in Rogue One, despite the fact that, Peter Cushing has been dead for, 30 years, I think? Over 30 years. It was 94 when he died. And it was a bit of a uncanny valley situation. I don't think that they would go back there. I don't think that, firstly, Peter Cushing's family is really willing to let them do that. But also, I feel like Tarkin taking his place, specifically landing a shuttle on a bunch of protesters, that could be much better to lead in his character into Rogue One and give it a bit of depth and backstory. Either way, we're going to watch the trailer, so let's jump in and let's see what it's got for us.
I came with you to be part of something.
Is that Gorman?
The Empire cannot win.
There's Brasso. So yes. Oh! Saw is going to be injured at some point.
Burn very brightly.
But if I'm giving up everything, I want to win.
Oh no, Gazanti Freighter. They found them.
Stand together, we will be crushed.
Resistance is absurd.
There he is. Ah!
It's a weapon. They're building a weapon. The monster will come for us all.
Revolution is not for the saying. You're right here, and you're ready to fight.
There's a future here.
I love the dress
For
robes.
those who dare. Welcome to the rebellion.
Okay, that's all we need. That's all we need. Okay, so, again, a kind of slightly more action-packed trailer this time around. Again, not giving much away in terms of the story. We know for a fact the Gorman Massacre is going to be front and centre there. And I think that's most of the footage that we've seen so far. I think that when we look at particular story arcs, whichever planet that Brasso is on, I think Bix was there, but she's also obviously with Cassian at other points. I think that the Empire isn't necessarily there because they found them. I think it's just like one of those things where it's like the Empire eventually goes everywhere. And, there's, again, that kind of forced resistance. I don't quite know what planet it is. Some people suggest it could have been Lothal. I think it's going to be a new planet because I think that, the aim of these shows is to always kind of expand and build and add new characters, new locations. So I would be surprised if there was too many, throwbacks in here. And again, that's the first thing about the trailer. It's got no surprises, which is nice. Tony Gilroy is not really a kind of surprises kind of person. He doesn't look to get his kind of cheap pops, to use a wrestling term, by just throwing in like a Luke Skywalker or a Darth Vader. He uses really good storytelling that builds up and gives you a kind of rewarding payoff because you've been invested in the story. The perfect Narkina 5 arc, that is a perfect example of setting up the story, giving the characters connections and giving them something to fight for, and then paying it off in that last episode with the fantastic monologue, the fantastic escape scene. That's kind of how Tony Gilroy works, rather than just like being, oh, at the end, here's Darth Vader. It's like, no, that's really much, much better storytelling. So there was no surprises in the trailer, which again, I'm very happy with, but enough to kind of keep us interested. We heard Krennic talking, which again, he's kind of just slipped back into that character really nicely. Saw showed up a couple of times in different states. So again, in the other trailer reaction, I kind of speculated that we would see Saw become increasingly more like the person he is in Rogue One. When he showed up in Andor Season 1, he is still a bit kind of paranoid, but he's not the full-on kind of like almost mentally broken shell of a man that he is in Rogue One. But you saw there that he was, in the first shot that he showed up in, he looked far more injured. He looked far more like his Rogue One look than what we've seen. But then later on in the trailer, he looked a bit younger, a bit more mobile. So I think that as the arcs progress, we're going to see him get injured at some point. And become even more paranoid. Maybe that is one of the arcs where, he has that official break away from the rest of the Rebel Alliance because something goes wrong. He wants to do something, the Alliance doesn't agree, he gets injured because of it, and that's why they struggle to work together going forward. Mon Mothma's daughter as well, whether it's going to be her wedding or betrothal party, that's clearly going to be another big centre stage. I think that's pretty much where we see Krennic in his dress robe. Or dress uniform, I should say. There's the escape with the experimental TIE fighter, the TIE Advanced. I can't remember the actual other name of it, but I always remember it as the TIE Advanced because in the TIE Fighter series games, the X-Wing versus TIE Fighter series games, that's what it's called. But it does have another official designation in lore. And, the Gorman Massacre, and it looks as though there's going to be a lot of political intrigue on Coruscant as well. You've got Dedra Meero, who looks a bit upset at points in this. Cyril Khan, who I think could become more kind of dedicated to the cause than Dedra Meero. Maybe she starts to have some second thoughts, and he kind of is just like full on, no, I want the Empire. And he said in there, there's opportunities here for those who persevere. So, he is fully on with the fascist empire, whereas I think she might start to break a little bit. But it is going to be interesting. I mean, Luthen, again, kind of just looking like he was having a little bit of a moment, where maybe the line between the kind of portrayal that he shows of the owner of the shop and his actual rebel side is breaking. That's Zuko on a chair, by the way. He's got all kinds of energy today. It's a wonderful day out, so he's just full of it. I think everyone's obviously going to show the strain. People are going to die here. I think this is going to be the most brutal season of Star Wars that we'll have ever seen, and it has to be because it's leading in to the start of the Civil War. So you have to really give the fire in, the kind of the cause. And that has to be through oppression, through murder, through death, through tragedy. And the only person that we know is probably guaranteed to survive, other than K2SO, who's, again, showing up in this, is Cassian. Everyone else, Mon Mothma as well, and Krennic. But in terms of like all the other supporting characters introduced in this show, they're pretty much all fair game. So it's going to keep us guessing. But 1 month ago, we'll be watching it right here on the channel. So stay tuned, subscribe if you're not, and we'll watch it together. But in the meantime, thank you for watching. Let me know what you thought of the trailer, and I'll see you for the next video.